Hello, today I'm going to show you how to set up a job with white ink for Onyx, and specifically Onyx GamaPrint for an Epson S80600 printer with white ink. GamaPrint, the main difference with Onyx GamaPrint versus some of the other Onyx applications such as Poster Shop and so forth. Um, Onyx GamaPrint does not come with Job Editor. And Job Editor has some capability where you could like kind of generate the white with Onyx. GamaPrint doesn't have that feature, so we'll have to input the white through our design in either Illustrator or Photoshop or some graphic design software like that. So I'll show you how to do it today with Illustrator. So first of all, we need a profile that supports white ink. So if you go into Media Manager, you'll see like some profiles, this particular BL Blex profile does not have white ink in it, but some of these other ones do. Like this one's got a white spot color defined in it, and then some of these other ones have like multiple spot colors. Most of them are going to be named Spot 1. That's kind of the default. So that's what you're going to be naming your spot color when you set up your art. So we'll use this profile. Even though it's named white, it also accepts the Spot 1 color because that's kind of like the built-in spot color for Onyx. So in Illustrator, if we take a file, we want to put white on this file, so I'm going to select what I want to be white. I'm going to copy it, so I'll do Control C here. I'm going to make a new layer in my Layers tab, so if I don't have that open, I can go to Window, Layers, and pull that up. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to paste what I just copied. I'm going to paste in place. I'm going to do Control-Shift-V, paste in place, or I can do that up here in my paste options as well under Edit. So now I've got like basically two layers with the same stuff on it. So on my top layer, I'm going to convert all that stuff to white. So select, make sure I just have the top layer. And I'm going to just set it to a different color. I usually use like cyan or something real bright and noticeable. All right, so now I've got my layers kind of defined separately. I need to name this color now. If I don't already have a swatch created, like in this case, I've got my swatches created already under my user defined colors, but I'm going to go ahead and just make this one. So I'll do new swatch here and rename it. I'm going to call it Spot 1. Make sure I designate it as a spot color and then hit OK. So now I'll have a new color in my list that's actually named Spot 1, and it's got the little spot designator on there. So this is set up. The last thing I need to do in Onyx is, in this case, the white layer. I usually use the top layer just because it's easier to designate, grab everything basically. But I need to set my attribute over print fill. So Window, Attributes, and then anything that's on top needs to have the overprint fill selected. So my top layer, basically my white stuff, has to be designated as overprint fill so that Onyx knows there's something underneath this object that needs to be printed as well. So I'm going to turn both layers back on, save this out, and then we'll just save it right to the desktop so I can find it. In this case, I already had it saved, so I'm going to overwrite that. And then save that out. So then I'll go into Onyx, open up that file, my desktop somewhere. There it is. I'm going to turn off Open in Job Editor because, again, for GamaPrint, we don't have that option. So it's going to open up straight into the RIP queue. So it'll come in, if we did that correctly, it's not going to come in cyan, it's going to come in some other color. And in this case, with this profile, it uses that kind of like greenish color, but it might be one of these other predefined colors that's set up in the profile you're using. You're either the, a lot of times it's like purple or whatever. and that kind of thing. In this particular profile that has white ink built in, it's kind of this greenish color. So it sees the white, and you can see there's some variance in color that tells me that it sees that overprint fill. It's kind of previewing the color underneath plus the kind of greenish color on top of each other, and you're getting that kind of weird color there. So it looks like it sees it all correctly. So this profile does have white ink in it, and of course you can see that if I go into job properties, I can see the named colors, and there's my spot color for white ink, spot 1. And then, so the last thing we need to do for the Epson S80 is we just need to set the order. So if we right click the job, edit, printer settings, here's where there's some white ink options we can set, like the number of passes. In this case, this profile only has one mode, basically an 18 pass mode. And then I can set the order, so I'm going to print my spot first and then the color. So standard first surface printing, the white goes down first and the color sits on top of it. For second surface application, I could print my color first and have the white go on top of that. And then this would be like printing the colors and the white at the same time. And that would be primarily, like, if you're only printing white would be the main use for that. Or if there's some instances where you're printing white and color, but they're not underlaying each other, that would be fine too. But if you use this option and you're doing some sort of underlay, it's going to kind of mix the colors and you get kind of like a pastel milky version of the colors. You don't get like a nice base and then the color and vice versa. There are a few other options you can mess with in here. This profile actually doesn't have those options for some reason, but there are usually a couple other options that you can set, like the opacity of the white and so forth. And either I'm missing it or I don't think this profile has it built in for some reason. But anyway, so there are a few other options you can mess with to adjust the saturation of the white if you want to, in most cases. All right, so we set our overprint or our underprint, and then this job's ready to go. If for some reason you don't have any profiles that already have white loaded in them, the spot one, you may need to download that profile. The one I normally do, and obviously I'm not hooked up to a printer right now, so I can't do it today, but normally I would go into my Epson Edge dashboard and click on my printer and then go to media settings, and I can search for profiles. So I can do download EMX, and the one I normally go with is the 3M, and it's going to be the 8150 clear. So this one I know for a fact it has white ink built into it, and it works pretty good. So I would download that, and then I would select that media and load it onto my printer. Use the little arrows to move it into an empty slot. Now I don't have a printer connected, so I don't have anything here, but on your printer you should have that option where you can add that. Basically add that, hit apply down here, and then more or less it'll automatically sync to Onyx. You have to select that media on the printer, and then Onyx should see that and automatically download that into your Onyx. So that's how you add new profiles as well. Like I said, the 8150 clear works pretty well for white ink. I think a lot of them actually do have that option, but that's one I know for sure. So hopefully that helps. If you get questions, let me know. Thanks.